I love braised tofu.
Yes.
I'm going to mention that as well, because Polly kind of put me off braised tofu and said it looked like, well, I won't say what it looked like.
Okay.
You can probably imagine what the reference was.
No, don't tell me, because I think we've got some in the fridge.
It's going to be an end to your relationship with braised tofu.
Mm-hmm.
Do you love all those kind of products?
I do, and I mean, I'm, I suppose, more on the end of the spectrum of being a junk food vegan. So I love plant-based meats. I love cheeses. I love like cheese fries. I love potato in all its forms.
Yeah. After my own heart. I love all that stuff.
This is how I eat. This is how I would eat before I was vegetarian or vegan. And like my partner and I went vegan around the same time, so we had that journey together. So it was never like I had to force him to eat anything, or he didn't force me to eat anything. And when we went vegan way back in maybe like 99 or 2000, I mean, it was grim back then in the UK. It was, I think there was one soya milk in Sainsbury's that was sweetened with apple juice.
And really expensive.
Yeah, and that was it. And there was barely any cheese, and I think we had Cheesley after a few years, and, it was tough back then. And, people didn't know how to make their own cheeses. Well, certainly not the people I was hanging out with. Like, now, I mean, there are so many different, like, make your own cheese books, and people selling craft vegan cheeses at the market, and so I mean, but I still love the convenience of having like vegan slices that are processed that you can put on a burger. And I think some of those foods like Tofurkey and Fry's Family Food and V-Bites, I think they're the things that are helping a lot of people in the UK make the transition. Because if you had to make everything from scratch yourself, there probably would be a few people that slipped up now and then. So I think having those convenience foods is a really important thing to helping improve outcomes for animals.
Could you say you have a favourite breakfast, lunch and dinner? What on an ideal day, what would you like if you had one day of eating all your favourite foods? What would the meals be?
I'm absolutely obsessed with potato. I would have hash browns for breakfast.
Yeah.
Maybe like a vegan full English breakfast with maybe 2 different types of potato in there. Something with fries on the side.
Be hungry now.
Yeah, and then maybe like a roast dinner at night with mashed potato and gravy and a vegan roast.
Yeah, sounds great. If you had some advice to people that are considering becoming vegan, or maybe like me and Polly as well mentioned, being vegetarian and then going vegan, and I know it's a lifetime choice for me now. I know it's till the end. What would you say to the people that are thinking about it?
I think the most important thing to understand is when you know in your head and your heart that you're doing the right thing, you won't go back. So I think that's where, it's like you've got to give yourself a really good reason, and you've got to believe it 100%. And some people don't get there. Some people never get there in their life. Some people think they get there, but then they drop back to eating meat or being vegetarian. But when you know 100% in your heart and your head that it's the right thing to do and it's the best thing you can do for animals, you feel comfortable in it. It's not a struggle anymore.
Because it is easier now, isn't it? Like you said with the foods.
I think so. I don't think there's less pressure, though. I think there's still, for a lot of people, they still feel that pressure from being socialized into eating certain things, or, a lot of us still believe that we will get ill if we don't eat certain animal products.
It's nonsense, isn't it?
Right? It really is. But, I understand why people think that way. They've been socialized into believing that. And it's when they break down that socialization process that's happened to them, and when they truly understand how they contribute to animal suffering by partaking in it, that's when they won't go back. But, it's tough for some people, right? It takes a lot of hard work, but for other people it just seems to click into place. But once you're there, I think it's very difficult, if not impossible, to go back.
I love what you do. I think it's such a positive thing. What's coming up? Because I know you've done some brilliant events recently. One of those I couldn't attend because I had a wedding to go to, a friend's wedding, Vinnemark. It's a good reason to miss your festival, but
okay.
I so wanted to be there.
Well, just to let you know, I'll never forgive you for not coming to my event. And you're uninvited from everything else that I ever do for the rest of my life.
Christmas card list.
Well, I just ran the London Vegan Beer Fest, which you selfishly missed.
Yeah.
I also have the Glasgow Vegan Beer Fest. This is the first time I've done it. coming up in August. I also have the Manchester Vegan Beer Fest, which is 2 days in September. I will have I think it's my 5th annual Vegan Day of the Dead party, where my friend Julio comes from Mexico and helps me cook. I'm involved in, now this is going to sound a bit weird, but I'm involved in these vegan river cruises. So I go on these 5-star vegan boats in Europe as kind of like a Z-grade celebrity. I sit in the bar and people can come and have a drink at night with Fat Gay Vegan. We're doing one in the south of France. We're doing one out of Amsterdam over New Year's.
So like a meet and greet type thing?
Kind of, yeah. And I mean, you know, it's an all-inclusive cruise in this luxury boat through rivers of Europe. And yeah, I'm doing 2 this year and hopefully a big one out of London next year as well.
Holly's on her phone booking tickets now, frantically. Not missing this one, we'll never live it down.
So, you know, that's a lot of fun. I mean, it's not for everyone because it's super expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it's a luxury holiday. But
throwing the phone on the floor.
but, you know, for people who would normally pay for a holiday like that, I think it's nice that they have the option to do it vegan. Of course, it's nice for me to go on there as an invited guest because I don't have to pay.
Yeah.
And I get to drink as much as I want. And
that's always a bonus.
March around screaming, "I'm FGV, get out of my way." I'm in the early stages of planning taking my Vegan Beer Fest to Australia. Because, you know, that's where I'm from, and I'd like to go back and rub it all in their faces and say, I would, you know, you told me I'd never be anything, and you said veganism would never be anything. And then, you know,
look at me now.
Tell the 10 people who show up to the Brisbane Vegan Beer Fest that. And then I'm also, you know, I live in Mexico for half the year, so I'm hopefully starting up a Vegan Beer Fest in Mexico City next year as well.
So the new album, is it different? And obviously every album's going to be different in some ways because you're progressing, but does it feel like a radical change for you, this album?
It definitely feels like I guess radical. Like, it is different. It's unpredictable in a sense because the things that are inspiring us are constantly changing, and you know, we are inspired by different relationships happening in our lives and different forms of art. If we go to the museum or if something we're listening to or currently what's happening on the radio or whatever's inspiring us is constantly changing. So I think we're constantly changing as artists.